Paralyzed by the analysis of the analysis by paralysis?
Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
And my name is Tyler. Together we make up Kovray, a couple that loves to play board games.
And the color red.
But all the other colors are awesome too.
That's true.
Welcome to this week's episode of Check It Out, where we introduce various board games to you folks in hopes that we find a game that is perfect for you.
On this week's Check It Out, we have Red Rising!
Whoa, check it out, check it out, check it out. Red Rising is published by Stonemaier Games. It's designed by Jamey, Stegmaier, and Alexander Schmidt, with the illustrations done by Jacqui Davis, Bensky, and Justin Wong.
And is based on the novels written by Pierce Brown.
In this 1 to 6 player game, you'll enter a futuristic dystopian society that's been divided into 14 different castes.
The hierarchy!
Ooh. You'll take the role as one of the houses that's putting together a team and trying to collect the most victory points. You're gonna want to either disturb this dystopian society that is happening right now, or you'll join forces and make sure it stays in the hierarchy that exists right now.
The power!
Which will you choose?
Well, you'll begin by setting up. You'll shuffle the deck and place it on the board along with a Red Rising die. You'll place 2 face-up cards in each of the locations, and then each player draws 5 cards and gets a random house tile and the corresponding 10 influence tokens. They'll place their fleet token on the 0 space and you're pretty much ready to go. Now on your turn, you'll either lead or scout. When you lead, you'll take a card from your hand and place it in one of the locations. Then you'll see if it triggers any deploy abilities. And there's many of these in the game. You'll just have to read the card and follow the instructions. Then you'll gain the top card from another location and get that location's bonus, or gain the top card of the deck and roll the Red Rising die to gain the resulting bonus. Now, the location bonus from left to right are you advance once on the fleet track, gain 1 helium, gain the sovereign token, or place 1 influence on the institute. Now, if you don't lead, you can scout. And what scouting is revealing the top card of the deck and placing it, but not deploying it on any location. You then gain that location's bonus. Now the game ends when all 3 of these conditions are met, or any 2 conditions are met by the same player. And that is, a player has 7 helium, a player has 7 influence on the institute track, or a player reaches 7 on the fleet track. Now you'll finish taking turns and make sure everybody has the same amount of turns, and then you'll do the final scoring. You'll first take a look at the end of the game abilities, starting with the first player, trigger all of those end game abilities. Then you count up all the character cards, the core value and the endgame bonus points at the bottom. You'll score points according to your position on the fleet track, gain 3 points for each of the helium tokens you have, gain 10 points if you have the sovereign token, and the player with the most influence will get 4 points for each of the influence on there. Now the second place gets 2 for each, and the third place gets 1 for each. In this case, the winning player has 7 influence, which means 28 points for that player. Now, if you have more than 7 cards, you lose 10 points for each additional card you have. So your 8th card will cost 10 points. Now, you calculate the total points, and the player with the most points wins! Now, will you be the house that wins it all? So what did you think?
I really like this game. It's a lot of fun. I feel like you probably get more out of it if you read the books already, but I have not read the books, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I actually started reading the books because of this game, which is another reason I really enjoy this game, because any game that pushes you to read and get into the whole fantasy world is always fun. But you don't have to read the book to enjoy the games. What it does is it really lets you recognize the characters and see their interactions. But it's really nice because there's no spoilers for the book, and it doesn't really connect in the really strong thematic way. It's just a nice flavor that really adds to the game, I find.
Yeah, and I really like that there's a bunch of, like, each card is unique, and there's a lot of cards, so there's a lot of strategy that can go into this, and you also have to be really adaptive, which I think is super cool in a set collection game like this. Yeah, because there's so many cards, there's just so many cards.
So many cards. Yeah, each game you play is unlike any other, for sure. And that's why I really enjoy this game is I feel like every time you put your house together and you're ready to assemble your team, it always looks a little bit differently. And it really makes you think of what can you do to rise to the top.
So, why should people check it out?
Well, if adaptability is your strong suit, or if it's a skill you really want to work on, this is the game for you. Because you're going to have your cards and you're really going to have to adapt to what's on the field and what's being drawn to really make that best combination and score a lot of points.
Yeah.
That's another reason why you should check it out, is there's some very high scoring games and it's always so fun to score in the hundreds, but always so sad to score low.
If you like set collection games that have like an element of card drafting, then I think that Red Rising would probably be right down your alley. It's relatively straightforward, simple to pick up because it has so many or so few components. It really is just cards. But the way they've set up the game, I think, is a joy, and there's, again, so many different strategies, so it's super replayable.
And all the characters are different, so you really want to, if you haven't read the books, you're like, who is this person? What is their story?
Yeah.
But if you read their books, you're able to put people together and be like, they'd be never in the same room together. Why are we trying to make this happen? So it's quite an exciting experience. So why shouldn't you check it out?
I think my thing with this game is because there's so many different unique cards, you can get a little frustrated with not getting the card that you want. Now, this leans back into like Ilya's point of adaptability, but you could have like 4 out of the 5 cards that you're looking for and never find that 5th one, and that's when it could get a little frustrating. So if that's something you tend to like fixate on because you're so focused on completing one type of strategy, then maybe Red Rising is for you on your lucky days.
And there's also a lot of reading in this game, and although there is iconography on the side to kind of help out a little bit, there's still unique cards that almost all of them do their own thing and need to be paired with their own card. So that is an accessibility barrier there as well. And because there are so many cards, you are likely to be in the
analysis by paralysis.
Exactly. I was so analyzed by
paralyzed by the analysis of the analysis by paralysis that he didn't even know what to say.
Exactly. But because of that, there are a lot of cards and you're reading all of them, and you can be stuck in the situation where there's many different ways that you really could go about playing the game, but you don't know what to choose. So if that is a thing you struggle with, this may not be the game for you.
Overall, what do we think?
I love the replayability in this game. I feel like anytime we get it to the table, we never just play it once. We always want to come back and try to get those high scores. The cards are beautiful. The components are gorgeous. It's a game that really just shines, and it makes me happy to play it.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategy that goes into the game, just like picking and drafting your cards, but I think like because there's so many different cards, I have not played the same strategy once. So I'm looking forward to continuing to discover different ways to potentially win the game or come close to winning the game.
And what Stonemaier does really well is the player interaction too. Like there's never a time where you're really trying to take that to an opponent, but there's a time you're going to steal somebody's card or take more initiative cube or institution cubes and grow your institution and make somebody else a little bit upset. But it's never, you're always trying to benefit yourself, never hurt the other person, which I really enjoy in Stonemaier Games.
So that's Red Rising. We hope you enjoyed.
For our question of the day, we have, what other games are based on books that you enjoy? I don't think I know too many. Do you?
I can't think of any right off the top of my head.
So let us know in the comments below. We always love learning about new games. And if you've played Red Rising and have some thoughts, we'd always love to hear them as well and have the conversation with you and hear about your experience, because that storytelling and sharing those memorable moments is what gaming is all about.
Yay, connections.
Exactly. Now, give us a thumbs up.
And hit that subscribe button. Or if you're really interested, hit that bell notification so you can find out when we release new videos.
Which is every week.
Yay!
We hope you really enjoyed this week's video, and we hope to see you next time.
Yep. Until then, though, this is us checking out.
Bye.